interactive. So I wish each one of you talk and talk whatever you want to. Okay, that's the way I think we learn. If I keep on talking monologue, nobody learns. I don't learn, you don't learn. But if we discuss, and it's fine if we differ, but it's important that we come out with something to take home. And I think this is totally interactive. This is largely based on making you sensitized to think. We're not going to teach a great pediatrics. Okay, I thought there is enough to learn, and all our books have been dedicated to only one thing. When we wrote our first book, my colleague said that whom did we dedicate? To our parents, to our wives, to our children? I said, yes, they are always with us. Even if I do wrong, they are with me. If I do right, they are always also with me. What is there to dedicate? And what's there to tell? You don't tell the world that I owe so much to my mother. The world should know that. So we have dedicated all our books to patients who suffered so that we could learn. And I thought if patients suffered and I learned, then next patient may not suffer. That is how I think we are looking at this program. This program largely takes care of the routine office practice. But you will see at the end of the program that difficult problems are also solved without tests, by sitting in your office, by only thinking. And therefore the whole idea is to sensitize thinking. And that's where STEER came in. I must say at this point of time that lot credit goes to both my colleagues. We have been together for 30 years. We are in private practice together. We are in academic practice together. We write books together. We are really a family. And I must proudly say that both my colleagues are excellent. You will find Dr. Chokani when he comes, they are gem of people. And I think not only they are great academicians, they have a great knowledge, they have a great enthusiasm, and they are nice human beings. And I owe a lot of that to both my colleagues. Okay. I think with this, let's start. Rajesh will join. He's on the way. The flight was delayed by 2 hours. That's why. Otherwise, he would have been here. I think first thing that we want to do when a child comes to us, what do you think we want to know? Can somebody move the mic also in the audience? Yeah. So that please raise your hand, talk. Okay. We want an interaction. So when a child comes to you in the outdoor, in the institution, in your office, what is the first thought that comes to your mind? Come on, anyone, yeah. Okay. Whether the child is well or not. In other words, what Dr. Kwani says is, I want to know whether the child is sick enough not to waste time but acts. Suppose somebody comes gasping, you don't ask, what's your age, what's your name? There is no time to ask. Okay, and therefore the first thing is that, is this child sick? That immediate. How do you know that? We have only few seconds. Impression. No, tame bahut sick cho, get there, start oxygen, do that. Okay, no time to think. You don't know what sickness, but you know he needs action. How do you know that in few seconds that this child is sick and I should not waste time? That's the next. Come on, somebody, just go on talking anything. Yeah, please give up. Can it be quickly done? Yes. I'm sure some of you have done PALS, etc. So first is an appearance. Okay, how is he looking? That's it. And that's what all of you will come out to say. And then what Dr. Popper said was that airway, breathing, circulation. So appearance, airway, breathing, circulation. Doesn't take time at all to quickly judge 4 things. Appearance, airway, breathing, and circulation. What a few others. So this should worry us. Let's see the next slide. So evaluate seriousness in first few seconds. That's what we want to train ourselves quickly. Go ahead. Now put in different color is most important. Everything is important. Okay. But for example, appearance is most important. I recall a child of pneumonia in my ward at JJ, and my resident said, sir, antibiotic api se, the fever is less, but I don't like the look of the child. The child was confused. Okay. I asked the child, where is your mother? The mother was standing next. He is looking around. So, lethargy, drowsiness, restlessness, irritable, confused, disoriented, unresponsive. Anything that you find that the child is not the same. What does that mean? That the brain is not functioning well. Two organs that can be seen clinically from a distance in few seconds is the brain and the kidney. Kidney by asking about oliguria, brain by seeing the response of the child, and then of course disproportionate tachycardia and tachypnea, what Dr. Koper said. And I think it should not take time to look at. Once you have an experience, you put a hand on the pulse, you know it's very fast. How fast is not important, disproportionately fast. He talked about tachypnea, disproportionate tachypnea for no reason. Any one of that, we know that this child is in danger. Once we have recognized that, we have not going to waste time in an office to find out why, etc. That comes later, but he has to be stabilized. And of course, small little things, stridor, wheeze, etc. We know all that. Okay. But what is more important is the brain response and urine output. Every parent would know that. This is important for subsequent also guiding the parents. So once we do that, and of course the last one, gangrenous rash, fascial membrane, abdominal distension, all that would mean, oh, it could be something danger. Abdominal distension, for example, hypokalemia, septicemia, paralytic ileus, toxemia, all that means some action. I think in few seconds, we have decided that this child is sick, let's act. Now let's see, majority of the patients who come to us are not sick. So once I know, na sickness એટલું કંઈ નથી, action લેવા જેવું નથી. What is the next we want? So we want a history, right? Now, what is the aim of the history really? And therefore, there has to be a method of asking history. So, before that now, next one. Once seriousness is ruled out, we proceed. Okay, but what's the aim of the history really? To know what the diagnosis is. Is TB a diagnosis you are happy? Diagnosis, I have given you a diagnosis. Suppose I have a child with mitral stenosis. He could be an athlete or he could be on a deathbed. What is the idea of knowing he has a mitral stenosis? Diagnosis, avi gyo. Aim is to diagnose, no? Now, that means that diagnosis is not enough. If I say TB, હવે TB ક્યાં છે? Lymph node છે તો ઠીક છે. TB meningitis and malaria હોય તો? So how does, what's the aim of the history? Diagnose, yes, but I have given you how diagnosis is not enough. Diagnosis is TB, mitral stenosis, okay. એમાં શું ખબર પડે? So you want to know something more, right? And what is that? Let's take you to the next slide. We want to know anatomy, pathology, etiology and malfunction in that sequence. Otherwise we won't know the diagnosis. સમજો અત્યારે બહાર મોટો અવાજ આવી ગયો. Okay. Okay, અરે અવાજ આવી ગયો. How will you know what it is? First anatomy. આ બિલ્ડિંગમાં આવી ગયો કે રસ્તા ઉપર આવી ગયો? Anatomy. રસ્તા ઉપર આવી ગયો તો કઈ ચોરી થઈ ગઈ, કઈ બોમ્બ બ્લાસ્ટ થઈ ગયો, કે એક્સિડન્ટ થઈ ગયો? બિલ્ડિંગમાં થઈ ગયો તો બિલ્ડિંગ કોલેપ્સ થઈ ગઈ, કે ફાયર થઈ ગઈ, કે ઝઘડો થઈ ગયો? Anatomy will change the pathology and etiology. But if I don't know from where the noise comes, I will go on searching everywhere. So first is anatomy. And what is anatomy for a clinician? Site of disease. And we want to know all that by history. Okay. Once I know anatomy, I want to know type of disease. That's my pathology. Having known that only, I can guess cause, that is etiology. And that's also not enough. I want to know what's the damage. Okay. Short circuit થઈ ગયો. Okay. No, but there is no damage. No hurry. Oh, short circuit થઈ ગયો છે, fire. Oh, action. Short circuit is the diagnosis, but function? So our history should answer 4 questions. Anatomy, pathology, etiology and functional disturbance, if any. That means effects. So let us learn to ask history to answer those 4 questions. Right? We'll see how we answer that. As we go on to specific issues, we will learn how simple it is if we think we can answer all 4 just looking at the patient, asking the patient. Now suppose we get a provisional diagnosis. ઓકે, કે હા હિસ્ટ્રીથી આવું લાગે છે કે આ જ છે. You need to investigate or you need to treat? What do you think? I have now known કે આ diagnosis છે. Okay, so my next question is, do I confirm the diagnosis or there is no need of confirmation, treat? So how would you look at that? Just give a thought. Anyone, come on, speak. Doesn't matter. You get the point. Okay, for example, I feel it's osteomyelitis. Shall I confirm, investigate? Or હવે osteomyelitis છે, antibiotic આપો ને? What it means is that if a diagnosis is certain, which has no further problems, then I treat without investigation. What's an example? Tonsillitis. હવે દેખાય છે ટોન્સિલમાં પસ છે, હવે શાનો ઇન્વેસ્ટિગેટ કરો? Okay, do you want a pus culture? No, you're wasting time. Okay, but suppose you are suspecting a urinary tract infection. You are only provisional diagnosis. છે કે નહીં નક્કી કરો, કલ્ચર કરો, કન્ફર્મ કરો, પછી MCU કરો, અલ્ટ્રાસાઉન્ડ કરો, કદાચ રેડિયોન્યુક્લિયર સ્કેન કરો, ઓકે, DMSA સ્કેન કરો, DTPA કરો. That means action. So whenever a provisional diagnosis is likely to have a further action or a further repercussion on the health of the child, we need to investigate. But if there is nothing of that kind, we need not waste time in investigating. So provisional diagnosis મળ્યા પછી બી we give a thought to say, is this need? For example, I suspect TB. Suspect TB નહીં, 6 મહિનાની દવા આપવાની, કન્ફર્મ કરવાની જરૂર છે. But tonsillitis હોય તો કન્ફર્મ કરવાની જરૂર નથી. So we will have to think what provisional diagnosis we have made, and then so if there is no need of investigation, you treat. But if there is a need of investigation, you should investigate. But ઘણી વાર there is no provisional diagnosis at all. And we will see such example. કે ના હિસ્ટ્રી બરોબર લીધી છે તો કઈ પત્તો જ નથી. Now what do you do? No provisional diagnosis. Okay. And I'm sure many times, sir, આજ સવારથી તાવ આવે છે. હવે you ask 100 questions, you don't know what is the cause. ટાઇફોઇડ થવાનો છે 4 દિવસ પછી, મલેરિયા થવાનું છે કાલે, ફેલ્સિફેરમ કે વાયવેક, કશું આઈડિયા નથી. And a patient wants to know, and we want to know correctly how to proceed, which is many times more than simple provisional diagnosis. આવું થાય તો શું કરો? No provisional diagnosis. Okay, તો હવે we have many options. આમ કરો, પેરાસિટામોલ લઈ લો, પછી કાલે જોઈએ. He might be dead by tomorrow. તો પછી એમ કરો, એન્ટીબાયોટિક આપો. અરે મલેરિયા હશે તો શું? તો પછી એમ કરો, એન્ટીબાયોટિક પ્લસ એન્ટી મલેરિયલ બી આપો. This is what we normally do. Okay. So we should not do that. That's not rationality. Our steerma last is R. So હવે શું કરવાનું? Clinician does not know what to do and he does not want to do wrong. But he doesn't know what is right. So હવે આમાં શું કરવાનું? So give us that. What would you? Flag sign. So what he wants to say is that he wants to know whether I can wait or I have no time to wait. That's it. I don't know, but can I wait or not wait? Okay, રસ્તામાં કઈ ગડબડ ચાલે છે, બધા ભાગી રહ્યા છે. I want to know, is it risky running with them or is better I wait? Now I have to, okay, you have a running train, એકદમ કઈ ફાયર થઈ ગયો. Are you going to jump out of a running train or wait? You might be burnt. Decision needs to be taken for risk of waiting. Okay. So risk of waiting decides. Now how do you decide whether it's risk of waiting or no waiting? That's the next. Philosophy is right. Provisional diagnosis નથી, risk of waiting. Sir, dark clouds આવી ગયા છે. Sir, છાતા ખોલું અત્યારે? No, there is no risk of waiting. No, આવા દો ને. સર અચાનક આવશે તો અરે એટલું નહીં થાય, છાતો ખોલવાનો ટાઈમ મળશે. ના પણ છતાં બી ભીગી જાઓ થોડું. ના શરદી થશે તો શરદી સારી થશે. That means no risk. You will not open umbrella even if it is dark clouds. Okay. That is the way. Now we have decided the risk. વરસાદ આવશે, યસ. અચાનક આવશે, યસ. ભીગી જશો, યસ. શરદી થશે, યસ. તો બી તમને કશું થશે નહીં. So don't open the umbrella. Okay. That means there is a logic of thinking. So how do you decide risk of waiting? That's the next question. So we are thinking in the right place. No provisional diagnosis, assess risk of waiting. How do you decide wait or watch? Is it just intuition or is it some objective evidence? Just tell me now, I have a child of fever for 1 day. You tell me with your thinking, you have thought right. But now tell me, fever for 1 day, will you wait or not wait? Now I am going to play a devil's role. Whatever you say, I am going to oppose. You say, no, it's safe to wait. I said, nahi, mari jase.
Examination. Physical.
Examination nahi need, no. પહેલા તાવમાં આજે સવારથી તાવ આવ્યો છે, બપોરે આવી ગયો. We all know examination will not show anything. Okay.
Age of the patient.
Excellent. Age of the patient. Very good. So one is age. He said give symptomatic treatment and wait. But wait doing what? For example, I know that many times patients are admitted for observation. But if I am the parent, I'll say, doctor, कौन observe करसे? Observe कोई नहीं करे. Admit for observe. Yeah. We write, no, admit for observation. मैं observe करो कोई છે કે ના એ નથી. તમે જ observe કરો. તો પછી parents must know what to observe also, no? Yeah. So one is wait and watch. Age, excellent. That's where wait. So age, tell the relatives when you should run to me. Okay. Any other situation, immunosuppressed state, malnutrition. Healthy child हो, you can wait a little longer. Malnourished हो तो you are not going to wait. નાનો 3-6 મહિનાનો હોય, you are not going to wait. 10 વર્ષનો હોય તો you are going to wait. So that is the way we will say risk of waiting. Let's see what Tani is saying. So if there is no provisional diagnosis, evaluate risk of waiting. Now there is no risk of waiting. Okay. Then as they all said, you give symptomatic treatment. Not any other thing. Okay. ભલે તાવ મેનિન્જાઇટિસ નો હોય, બીજા દિવસે ખબર પડશે. ન્યુમોનિયા હોય, ત્રીજા દિવસે ખબર પડશે. You are not going to lose that child because he is older, he is well nourished, he is not immunosuppressed, he will not show. And I am going to tell the parent કે જો ટેકેપનિયા થાય, ઓકે, જરા ડ્રાઉઝી લાગે, પિશાબ ઓછો થાય, ઓકે, તો તરત જ આવી જાઓ. I will not miss. But why not give an antibiotic? શું ફરક પડે છે? ન્યુમોનિયા હોય તો કંટ્રોલ થશે, મેનિન્જાઇટિસ હોય તો જલ્દી સારું થશે, વાયરલ હોય તો નુકસાન કંઈ નહીં, મલેરિયા હોય તો કાલે ખબર પડશે. નો કોન્ટ્રાઇન્ડિકેશન ટુ સેફ્ટ્રાએક્સોન, નો. શું ફરક પડે છે? ના, બરોબર, ઇટ મે નોટ વર્ક. ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ, આઈ ફેલ ડાઉન. સાહેબ આમ કરો ને, પ્લાસ્ટર લગાડી દો ને, ફ્રેક્ચર ન હોય તો બી સારું થશે, ફ્રેક્ચર હોય તો બી સારું થશે. શાનો વિચાર કરવાનો? પ્લાસ્ટર લગાડો, બધું સારું થશે. વોટ ઇઝ રોંગ? પ્લાસ્ટર લગાડ્યો. ઓકે, શા માટે? એક્સરેમાં જોશો ડાઉટફુલ છે, પણ એક રેડિયોલોજીસ્ટ કહે છે બીજો ના, કરતા જ નહીં. પ્લાસ્ટર લગાડો. ઓકે, ન ફ્રેક્ચર હોય તો બી સારું થશે, નો કોન્ટ્રાઇન્ડિકેશન. અને ફ્રેક્ચર હોય તો બી સારું થશે. વિચાર કરવાની જરૂર નથી, એટલે જ તો એન્ટીબાયોટિક આપવામાં આવે છે. ડોન્ટ થિંક. કોન્ટ્રાઇન્ડિકેશન ક્યાં છે? મલેરિયામાં સેફ્ટ્રાએક્સન આપો, શું ખોટું? દેટ પેરાસાઇટ વિલ નોટ ગેટ અપસેટ કે આ શું લઈ આવ્યા, ના. એ કે ભલે ઇગ્નોર, બરોબર ને? સો કોન્ટ્રાઇન્ડિકેશન શું છે? ઇન્ડિકેશન નથી, માનું છો, કોન્ટ્રાઇન્ડિકેશન નથી ને. પણ સમજો બાય ચાન્સ ન્યુમોનિયા અને મેનિન્જાઇટિસ જ હશે, પહેલા દિવસે ખબર નહીં, તો કામમાં આવશે.
ઇટ્સ નોટ રેશનલ.
રેશનલ એટલે કોણે નક્કી કર્યો છે? આપણે આ ગ્રુપમાં નક્કી કરીએ કે આ રેશનલ છે, એટલે આપણે બધાને કહીએ there is somebody, yeah, talk loudly. ના, પણ what I mean is that first day of fever, there are some who are going to have pneumonia, there are some who are going to have meningitis, okay, some who are going to have typhoid. એટલે અડધા તો સારા થશે અને બીજા અડધાને કંઈ નુકસાન નથી થવાનો, તો પછી શા માટે નહીં? ઇન્ડિકેશન નથી, પણ મને લાગે છે કોન્ટ્રાઇન્ડિકેશન બી નથી, એટલે જ તો બધા આપીએ છે ને ઓફિસ પ્રેક્ટિસમાં. તમે આજે જો, આપણે કાલે જોયો ને, કાલે પોપટ સાહેબે કીધું, a patient who came to him had how many antibiotics, all known to science, fluconazole, આમ તેમ છે ને. he was rational. હવે સારું નહીં થઈ ગયો એમનો બેડ લક, પણ બધું આપેલું. So what is wrong? I am not convinced. Absolutely perfect. But જે આવું ન કરે એનો આર્ગ્યુમેન્ટ છે કે શું ખોટું થઈ ગયું. That we have to convince him કે ના, ખોટું થાય છે. એ કે પૈસા ખર્ચા, ઠીક છે, પૈસાવાળા છે, ઓકે, ટેસ્ટ કર્યા, ઠીક છે, fine. So what we mean is that if on day 1 I give ceftriaxone, it could be pneumonia, meningitis, typhoid, ત્રણે માટે સારું રીતે, but I won't know when to stop it, I don't know which dose to give, I don't know which antibiotic the best, and therefore I will have a modified disease. What is modified disease will not present easily, will not be diagnosable, and will be diagnosed only when complication occur. I recall a 4-month-old child who came with fever. First day amoxicillin આપી દીધું. 2-3 દિવસ પછી થોડું ફીવર ઓછું થઈ ગયો. તો કે હવે સારું છે, ચાલુ રાખો. ચોથે પાંચમા દિવસે કન્વલ્શન. તો કે હા, now this was partially treated meningitis, which means now he is in trouble. If he was not given amoxicillin, next day he would have convulsed, we would have diagnosed early, we would have survived him with intact brain. Now 5 દિવસ meningitis ચાલે છે, દવા બરોબર ચાલતી નથી. Now he had a multiple brain abscesses by then, and now he is surviving with delayed development. Look at a child of a 6-month-old, no diagnosis, antibiotic આપી સારું થઈ ગયો. Sir, દર મહિને એવું થાય છે. Urinary infection is missed. Now he is in a chronic renal failure. He is on hemodialysis. He will need renal transplant. Look at a child of a 6-month-old, pneumonia થવાનો છે. દવા આપો, પૂરી દવા ન જાય. Not the best drug, oral drug. Okay, modified thing. Okay, sepsisemia થઈને, sepsis થઈને, empyema થઈને આવે, ત્યારે પછી lung is damaged. Why? Because we were in a hurry to diagnose. So early diagnosis means when the first symptom comes, you diagnose, not before. Now you know that આપણે ESR કરતા હતા, હવે બધા CRP કરે. Okay, because you are in a hurry. Okay, CRP comes early, ESR takes time. Okay, તો CRP કરીએ. Now CRP બી નહીં, પ્રોકેલ્સિટોનિન કરે. ઓકે, કાલે ટેસ્ટ આવશે કે બાજુવાળાને ઇન્ફેક્શન આવો ને તો તમે કરો એટલે તમને ખબર પડશે આવે છે કે નહીં. Now that's not possible. So we cannot be in a hurry, and there's no need to be in a hurry. That's why, okay, wait for evolution. Okay, તો ફર્સ્ટ ડે તમે શું કહેશો? જો આજે કંઈ દેખાતો નથી, ના પણ સાહેબ કાલે વધારે થઈ જશે. ના, આઈ વિલ ટેલ યુ ક્યારે દોડીને આવવાનું. ડ્રાઉઝી હોય, આપણો ફર્સ્ટ ટાઈમ ડ્રાઉઝી હોય, બિહેવિયર ડિસ્ટર્બ થાય, પિશાબ ઓછું થાય, પેટ ચડી આવે, ટેકિપનિયા થાય, તો દોડીને આવો. Now, at that stage, everybody is well controllable. But if they sit at home, સાહેબ તમે કીધું ને 4 દિવસ લાગશે એટલે અમે 5 દિવસ આરામથી બેસીએ તો વાંધો થાય. So, report if danger symptoms. That's what all of you said. So, this should be our protocol. And suppose there is a risk of waiting, age, okay, malnutrition, something. તો પછી શું કરશો? You have to send tests. Now what tests? You have a child of 3 months with high fever. What are the danger infection? Pneumonia, meningitis, okay, UTI, because it can be chronic. Malaria, yes. So CBC, PS, urine, chest X-ray, if required CBC, if required CSF. એ કર્યા વગર એન્ટીબાયોટિક નહીં આપવાની. અને બ્લડ કલ્ચર, if it was especially a bigger child, typhoid હશે. Now this should be our method of doing. And I think how will we safe legally? લખી રાખવાનું, fever for 2 days, no localizing symptoms or signs, clinically stable, advise paracetamol, watch for change in behavior, urine output, any new symptoms, tachypnea. If so, report immediately. Otherwise, let me know after 48 hours. Legally, you are absolutely safe. બીજે દિવસે મરી જશે તો બી you are safe. નહીં, મરશે જ નહીં. Because you have correctly done that. And how much time it takes? It should become a reflex only. Okay, આવે તો you have seen a reflex in many things. Okay, fire brigade fellows have reflex. Okay, circusમાં reflex change કરે, ડ્રામામાં change કરે scene 1 મિનિટમાં. Everybody knows where to move. It's just a practice. It doesn't need intelligence. The problem is we are intelligent, so we don't practice. That is the problem. Okay, we say ના બધું આવડે છે, તો practice નહીં કરો તો શું આવડે? So I think we need to practice. So this is the way we go by. And the next one we have again said how evaluation of risk. Yeah. We have already said seriousness, we have taken a note of it, and age, poor nutrition, immunosuppressive. While waiting for evolution, patient should report danger symptoms, what all of you said, and appearance of new symptoms. So, સાહેબ vomiting નહોતો, હવે vomiting કરવા લાગ્યો છે. Yeah, I must know why. Is it an early problem? Dr. Rajesh Chokani is here. Okay, come Rajesh. I was just telling you that Dr. Rajesh Chokani and Dr. Khare has contributed so much to this that I think you will see now how he is better than me. Okay. Yeah. I cannot avoid this fact, so I said, let me tell you this, because નહીં તો પછી કહે છે સાહેબ બહુ વાત કરતા હતા પણ પેલો રાજેશ તો એના કરતા સારું છે. So I said, ના સાહેબ બી કહેતા હતા એવું. So that's why I'm saying that. No, I think we are very lucky to have people like that, and a lot of contribution comes from Rajesh. By history, know the pathology. That's the thing. And you will wonder what histopathologist is under the microscope, a clinician can think. Okay. So now, before we go that, let's use pathological term that we had learnt in second MBBS. Okay. I learned 50 years ago. Some of you 30, 40, but some of you 5. So those who have learned 5 years back must know that. So use the terms in pathology, what we have discussed. So any pathological terms?
Sir, you take this. Wire is coming from that.
Any pathological terms?
Think of any pathology term which we learnt in second MBBS. Inflammation. Excellent.
Inflammation. Okay. How does a clinician sit in his office and say inflammation?
So tell us clinical signs of inflammation.
Symptoms and signs of inflammation.
Fever and pain. Fever, pain. What else?
Raised temperature, tenderness,
So raised temperature, tenderness. What else? Loss of function. What else? Somebody said, redness. One more. Swelling.
Fine. તો ત્યાં બેસીને જ ખબર પડે
Okay.
ઇન્ફ્લેમેશન છે.
Now
Histopathologist ની જરૂર નથી.
think of an example in clinical practice, acute tonsillitis. You have fever, you have pain, you have swelling, you have redness, so you call it acute tonsillitis. But think of a patient who has come with fever, say let's say jaundice. Now two situations, one who has jaundice due to hepatitis and one who has jaundice due to a liver disease. The one who has jaundice due to hepatitis, does he have fever? Does he have pain? Does he have swelling of the liver? So you know this is inflammation, so this is hepatitis. But the same person, if he has liver disease and he has jaundice, he does not have pain, he does not have fever, so he does not have inflammatory hepatitis. He has some other pathology.
So we know inflammation, okay? And he has given an example of how large liver, which is not painful, which is not tender, is not inflammation, so it's not hepatitis, whatever it is. Okay, so pathology can be said. What other pathologies we have?
Some other pathological terms.
Inflammation is one term, which we have now seen, clinician can judge. Okay.
You will
Lymph node,
find
you know?
even in, for example, you have a pneumonia. Even in pneumonia, because you know it's an inflammatory thing, you will have fever, you have pleural pain, you have swelling.
Swelling, impaired note.
Okay?
What is impaired note and diminished air entry? Swelling. Yeah. Swelling may not be seen as just swelling, but symptoms and signs of swelling. That's why pneumonia. Okay. What other terms pathological? Inflammation is one. What else?
Okay. Necrosis. Okay. Necrosis. What else? Yeah, septicemia is a process. Hemorrhage. So all clinicians can see hemorrhage either, which if it is evident outside or internal hemorrhage. What else? Edema. Edema is secondary to some other process. Fine. What else? You know, we had disease processes. So we had general pathology where we had chapters. One was inflammation, then infection, then
Infection is again inflammation.
yeah,
So next
Okay.
is infiltration.
Repair,
yeah,
Yeah, fibrosis. Infiltration. Okay. Atrophy, hypertrophy, degeneration. These are the terms we know. Now let's see one by one whether the clinician can say, oh, degeneration.
So
Inflammation
let's
something.
think degeneration. How will a clinician know it is degeneration? Pathology of degeneration.
regression,
So regression of function.
diminish in size, reduction in size. Maybe.
Okay, so reduction in size is atrophy. Clinical example. Muscles in so many CNS disorders. Okay. Yes, decrease in the function. Excellent.
No, but for example, my hair have turned grey. Degeneration. There is no atrophy there. There is function is also there. So something more. So slowly progressive. Okay. Inflammation could be acute or chronic, but degeneration is not acute. This did not turn grey one sudden day, slowly. So degeneration is slow progressive. Then what you said that? So adjective, slow progressive worsening function structure is degeneration. Okay, so clinician knows degeneration from inflammation, infiltration. How does a clinician know infiltration? Okay.
Excellent. Speak in the mic.
Organomegaly.
Organomegaly. So, enlargement or infiltration
but
of an
hepatitis
organ.
is also enlargement. Tonsillitis is also enlargement.
Form inconsistency.
Form inconsistency, all right. When does it become? So again, infiltration is a slowly progressive enlargement. Tumor, अचानक एक दिवस ना आवे. Slowly progressive. Firm liver, slowly progressive. Infiltration. So infiltration is slowly progressive enlarging organ. Degeneration, slowly progressive dysfunctional organ. Whether hypertrophy, atrophy, pseudomuscular hypertrophy, but still dysfunctional. Atrophy, dysfunctional. So their function, here only structure, infiltration. Okay, so now clinician knows inflammation, infiltration, degeneration, atrophy, hypertrophy. So histopathologist ne શું જરૂર? Okay, now we'll put the same to lymph node. ખબર પડશે degenerative છે, inflammatory છે, infiltrative છે, because we know nothing. Yes? So that's pathology. What about etiology?
Again, think of categories of etiology. So,
Bacterial infections because of bacterial infections or viral infection or fungal.
that is going further down, but the broad group is infection. Now, what else? Very
Traumatic.
Traumatic.
Traumatic,
Yes,
excellent. What else?
Congestive.
Congenital.
Congenital.
Yes, yes. So congenital acquired trauma infection.
Metabolic.
Metabolic.
Excellent.
Neoplastic.
Neoplastic.
See the beauty. Every one of us can think. Only have to tickle your cortex a little.
Inflammatory, collagen vascular.
Very good. So this is non-infective inflammation. So when we say infection, we are usually looking for clinically inflammation, which is a result of infection. But many times you have non-infective inflammation. Very good. What else? Storage. Excellent. Storage.
Okay.
Vascular.
Fine. Poison? Yeah. So
Allergy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every time a
Deficiency or
patient comes-
excess.
Yeah.
So poison, toxin, deficiency.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now when tonsillitis come, poison, no. Allergy, no. Trauma, no. I think from there, no, must be infection. Non-infective inflammation, no. But if I get joint, it could be infective or non-infective. Or maybe degenerative. Okay, joint swelling. Maybe traumatic. So many etiologies come and each are different. One is acute, one is chronic, one is progressive, one is regressive. Adjectives laga diye, so everything is clear. So that's etiology.
And now one very important aspect, that the signs that we look for, they don't change according to etiology. For example, if you have a consolidation, if it is due to pneumococcus or if it is due to some other germ, the consolidation signs will not change because it is tuberculosis or because it is pneumococcus. So how do you come to etiology? By using some adjectives. So we learn to use some adjectives which we put to the whole process. So now let's take an example. Fever, headache, vomiting. Put 3 different adjectives and get 3 different diagnoses. Acute, subacute, chronic. So acute fever, headache, vomiting, possible meningitis. Subacute fever, headache, vomiting, tuberculous meningitis. Chronic fever, headache, vomiting, tumor or some such thing. So by using the adjectives you could differ into what could be the etiology. Okay. Now take cough or take breathlessness. Okay. Sudden, gradual, explosive. 3 adjectives for breathlessness. Now sudden breathlessness is foreign body or asthma. Very good. Gradual breathlessness, pneumonia. Explosive breathlessness, pneumothorax, anaphylaxis. Excellent. So this is how an adjective, when you put to one symptom, it gives you different diagnosis. Okay. So persistent, recurrent, or suppose now you have fever, the typical OPD complaints of repeated cough, cold, fever. Now you have to decide whether it is repeated viral infection, whether it is asthma, or whether it is a long-standing disease. So 3 different adjectives: episodic, recurrent, persistent. Asthma is episodic, viral infections are recurrent, whatever pathology is there is persistent.
Like TB, fever off and on. That is off also and on also. Patient comes and says, "Varagadi tav aave છે 2 મહિનાથી." Is it recurrent? Is it episodic? Or is it persistent disease with recurrent symptoms? Persistent disease હોય તો તાવ નીકળી જાય તો બી બાળક તો સારું નથી. સાહેબ તાવ નીકળી જાય તો બી રમતો નથી, ચીડચીડ કર્યા કરે છે. અસ્થમા recurrent? ના, symptom નીકળી જાય ને તો રમે છે. So persistent, recurrent, episodic, etiology is known. So use adjective. Let's quickly go through this.
So this is how we said pathology was fever, pain, swelling, redness is inflammation. Inflammation signs are more severe in acute inflammation and less severe in chronic inflammation. Progressive swelling we said was infiltration, slow progression, degeneration. We all said atrophy, hypertrophy. Etiology we talked of almost all these terms. So when we think of etiology, we have to try and see which of these are possible, whichever organ system we are dealing with. And we use adjectives. So we discussed this acute, subacute, persistent, recurrent. Now when there is a long story, we should ask ourselves, 1 year complaints, 2 years complaints, we should ask ourselves, is he improving, worsening, or static? Now that is also going to give us an answer as to what possibly we are dealing with. Okay? And similarly progressive and regressive. So whether the illness is progressive, whether the illness is regressive.
So we know now pathology, etiology, adjectives we know. But anatomy is important. So now we want to get to an example of how we diagnose condition by good anatomy. Okay. So let's take an example of a renal anatomy. Okay. Now when you say, sir, we will do it later. Fine. Now when you say a renal disease, which are the anatomical components of a renal system?
Glomerular.
Glomerulus,
Excellent.
okay.
Then tubular.
Tubules,
Excellent.
alright. Collecting system. Can we divide glomerulus further? And a clinician can do that. So endothelium, epithelium, interstitium. Now we will see how clinician can say this is an endothelial glomerular disease. Oh, diagnosis becomes narrow. But if you say kidney kharab છે, અરે kidney ખરાબ છે એટલે કઈ part ખરાબ છે? Okay. It's like body kharab છે. Okay. It's as vague as that. Yeah. So now we will learn glomerulus, interstitium, epithelium, endothelium. Tubule, proximal, distal. હવે લૂપ ઓફ હેનલે વગેરે નહીં સમજે ક્લિનિશિયન ને, એ કોઈ જ ન સમજે. સો ધેટ્સ ઓકે. સો
now let us come with symptoms pertaining to the renal system and let us see where these symptoms they correlate with which anatomy of the kidney.
So endothelial glomerular.
So take any symptom and let us decide where all it can occur and which anatomy it
So what are the
correlates with.
renal symptoms of a renal disease?
Edema or
Edema. Now, is edema seen in glomerular, endothelial, epithelial, or interstitial?
So first let's in our mind take a prototype disease of an endothelial disease and we'll know how they differ. So what is a prototype disease of endothelial disease? AGN, excellent.
AGN is an endothelial glomerular disease.
Okay. And
Edema હોય છે.
let's take a prototype of a epithelial disease. Nephrotic syndrome.
Fine.
Okay. Now you said edema. Edema occurs due to glomerular pathology. What is the difference between edema of endothelial disease and edema of epithelial disease?
Which means difference between AGN and nephrotic about edema.
Very good. Mild edema in AGN and so severe. So that is the difference
Simple,
of
no?
edema.
So
Okay?
next time you have a generalized anasarca, we will say, oh, you have an epithelial glomerular kidney disease. खाली kidney नहीं. That means diagnosis एकदम पक्को થઈ ગયો.
And tubular disease rarely causes
What about
edema.
interstitium? No edema. Okay, no edema. So, and tubular no edema. Collecting system no edema. तो edema હોય તો બેચ. Endothelium or epithelium. વધારે હોય તો epithelium, નાનો હોય તો હવે sometimes combination હોય. So now next symptom of renal. Hematuria. Hematuria glomerular or tubular? Or collecting system, ત્રણ. Glomerular. Tubular? No. Collecting system? Yeah. So now
If there is stone.
hematuria, yeah. તો હવે edema and hematuria આવી ગયો તો collecting system નીકળી ગયો.
And what other difference which is possible when hematuria is from the collecting system? Okay, no, not crenated. Pain. Excellent.
So,
Colic, yeah.
and acute glomerular nephritis, no pain.
Okay.
So hematuria painful, hematuria painless. Painful is extraglomerular, painless is intraglomerular. Fine.
Okay.
Diagnosis મળી ગયો. તો edema hematuria, edema collecting tubule માં નથી, તો endothelial. પણ hematuria ખાલી આવી ગયો, edema નથી. તો બી painless and painful. તો
Now this crenated RBCs is theoretically correct but practically not useful. Why? Where do you look for crenated RBCs? Urine routine, but in what way? You have to look in a phase contrast microscope and then you look for crenated RBCs. Nobody looks at that. So nobody is going to report that to us and therefore we don't get that useful. So unless we are in the habit of doing microscopy, we may use some such things, otherwise no.
now
But therefore-
interstitial nephritis also has hematuria. But no edema and no pain. So edema, hematuria, no pain, AGN, endothelium. Okay. Hematuria, no pain, no edema, interstitium. And hematuria with pain, no edema is collecting tubule. કેટલું simple છે. પછી etiology we'll see what, isn't it? હવે AGN કીધું એટલે etiology even best of the tests don't tell us. ASO કરો તો બધાનો થાય છે. તો શું? Renal biopsy કરો તો they give histopathology. Mesenchymal આમ તેમ પછી આગળ શું કરવાનું clinician ને કોઈ કહેતો નથી. So I think we already know so much by just microanatomy. Right?
Now what other symptoms of pertain oliguria?
Oliguria.
Okay.
Now what is oliguria? Glomerular, tubular, collecting system.
So it's definitely glomerular, not related to collecting system, not related to
Yeah.
tubular.
But glomerular, endothelial or epithelial or interstitial? એટલે nephrotic માં oliguria? No. AGN માં oliguria. So oliguria is endothelial. When nephrotic has an oliguria, there are some other complication. Either he has got not minimal lesion but glomerulopathy, that means endothelium is involved, or he is probably in shock, whatever. But otherwise no oliguria. So oliguria. But what about collecting system? Can it have oliguria? No. So he has no oliguria, but he cannot pass urine. That means his bladder is full.
Retention as
Yeah,
opposed
but
to
he will
oliguria.
say, urine, સાહેબ 12 કલાકથી urine નથી થઈ ગઈ, not oliguria. So you must know oliguria with retention? No, it's not oliguria. So collecting system, no oliguria. So again simple, right?
What else? What other symptoms which take you to
So edema,
glomerulus?
hematuria, oliguria. બીજો શું?
Hypertension.
Hypertension.
Excellent.
Why?
Excellent.
So again simple. Okay, tubular માં નહીં, collecting system માં નહીં. Glomerular, mostly endothelial, fine. Okay, you can see what histopathologist sees in a fraction of a second by thinking.
Fever is not specific to renal, so therefore it is general, so we won't. Proteinuria. So what is the difference between proteinuria, which is glomerular, and tubular? First let's discuss that and then we'll come within glomerulus.
Amount of protein.
Glomerular passive proteinuria will occur.
Endothelial or epithelial?
Epithelial.
Very good. So in glomerular but epithelial, there will be massive proteinuria. But in glomerular endothelial, it will be less than this.
What about
And what
tubular?
is tubular proteinuria?
Tubular also proteinuria.
There is a characteristic of
Can
tubular
clinician say,
proteinuria.
हाँ तो proteinuria tubular છે. Albumin, yeah. So that is, we will say protein, albumin છે, globulin છે. That is further. Clinician to make out urine માં protein છે. Is it endothelium, epithelium or tubular? So tubular proteinuria does not manifest clinically as edema. Acute glomerular nephritis manifests with mild edema. Epithelial manifests with generalized આના તો clear થઈ ગયો proteinuria.
So tubular proteinuria is picked up on investigation.
Not clinician.
Okay.
So
And
absence
how,
of edema and presence of proteinuria may be tubular proteinuria.
how else does tubular present clinically? Okay.
Polyuria.
Polyuria,
Okay.
yes.
What else?
Acidosis.
Acidosis. So
Acidosis.
there will be other biochemical abnormalities, but clinically it will be subtle. That is acidosis or some growth issues or
So you will have now rickets, you will have tetany, you will have everything. Means biochemical abnormalities tubular. Acidosis in particular, tachypnea, etc. એ glomerular નહીં મળે અને collecting tubules મળે.
Now come to collecting system. Difference between upper and lower system. Clinical manifestations. So let's say you have an infection of the upper system and you have an infection of the lower urinary.
More of constitutional symptoms like fever, septicemia, toxemia.
In upper and in lower,
Less of constitutional and more of local pain.
symptoms.
excellent,
More local.
excellent.
So simple. Upper and lower. Okay. Any swelling? Upper અને lower માં? Lower generalized swelling. Lower obstruction હોય તો both ureters, both kidneys અને pelvic ureteric junction હોય તો એક જ. So again, it's all simple, right?